Hey everybody, welcome back to the Monday Q&A show here on the Airsoftology channel, the show that answers your questions, helps you out in a pinch. It's also been away for a couple weeks now. A lot of stuff going on, SHOT Show, travel, back. I've been pumping out the SHOT Show videos. I'll be finishing up this week. I've got a few more left to do. If you guys haven't mashed that sub button and the notification button, do it. I upload every single week, at least a couple videos, especially on the first of the week, Monday here, the Q&A show, which is all your questions. Real quick before we jump in, I got a couple things going on. First off, I want to give an announcement. I will be at Black Ops Airsoft in Fayetteville, North Carolina, in the United States, April, I gotta look, I cheat off camera here, 5th through the 7th. Make sure I get the dates right. I don't want to mess the dates up. This is going to be a 3-day event. It starts on Friday, it's going to go through Sunday. This is going to be huge. I'm excited. Everyone's there. I'll be there with Tippmann. Of course, you know, this Tippmann mail call. That's why I'm going to be heading over there. Want to go support this field. These guys have been a paintball field forever, and they're really pushing hard. They've been pushing hard into the airsoft side, and I want to go support that. I haven't been stateside and played in so long. I need to get back. So if you guys have been waiting to play with me, if you're in the Southeast United States, it's going to be springtime. Hopefully it should be good weather. I think it will be. Come join me there. Tickets are pre-order. I'll have a link down below. I don't get paid for the tickets. Just what they are is what they are. I'm not getting money off that. Just I would love to come meet you guys there and all that. Don't forget too, I got a web store. I'm going to lean forward here and get this. I've got a web store with all kinds of morale patches in it and stuff and patches and corgis, and if I can find the corgi here. I've got these plus a bunch more. I mean, a ton of patches in here. All kinds of morale patches. Those go to support the show. Link is in the corner and the description box below. All right, well, that's it. It's time to dive on into what you're really here for, and that is your questions in the Tippmann mail call. Americo Hagen Productions writes, will suppressors lower the accuracy and range of your airsoft gun? So this, I think, comes from the carryover from the video games and actually the real world as well. The way a suppressor works in those, not to go too much into the physics, and I'm sure you guys are way smarter than I am, it changes how the bullet leaves. The suppressor goes in the end, and it kind of takes the gases and the sound and kind of puts them in these baffles. So it kind of muffles it like a muffler. I'm really simplifying this. So basically it's got a bunch of these little baffles in there, and as it goes through, the sound is that. But because of that, and it absorbs that gas, it can mess with the trajectory or the power of it and kind of screw with it at range. That's how those work. In airsoft, that is not the case, at least in my experience. They use foam inside of there, so it just kind of deadens the sound. It doesn't really absorb that. It's just kind of like a muffled, it works differently, let's put it that way. It doesn't have baffles, although ICS is creating one that is built like a real one with actual true baffle chambers. I'm curious to see what that one does, honestly, when it comes out. It's one of their pistols. I saw it at MOA show. In fact, I have a video up for that on the channel. But as of the way airsoft suppressors work these days, no, not at all. In fact, most people use them to hide a longer inner barrel inside. And the ones in the US, unless you're sneaking them in for out of the country, are going to have a solid, hard plastic tube in there. So it's just like a plastic tube you're shooting your BB through. It doesn't affect the trajectory or the power or anything at all. So yeah, short answer is nope, not at all. Not like the real world or video games where you put it on and it messes with your range or accuracy. In airsoft, it's pretty much you put it on, it'll deaden the sound a little bit, but most of the noise is really coming from the gearbox or whatever in your gun. So yeah, that's it. Scrub Papa writes, hey, is there a difference between a stock hop-up nub and a G&G hop-up nub that comes with the green bucking? So quick rundown on hop-ups. There are nubs and buckings. The bucking is the actual piece that goes over the barrel like a little finger glove. We'll call it a finger glove, yes. So it goes like that. The nub is that tiny little piece in there that's so hard to get installed and all that and put in. I've noticed that all of them are a little different in hardness, softness, and all that, but really it comes down to, does it over-engage the hop-up bucking at the lowest setting? That's what you want. And when you turn it all the way up, is it engaging it so much that you can hop up a really heavy BB, or at least for the type of bucking. If you guys didn't know, buckings come in different, what they call degrees, which are hardness of rubber, how hard the rubber is, so how it grips. Some work better in cold temperatures, some work better in warm temperatures, some work better for high FPS guns. They grip better for that high FPS. Some work better for low FPS guns. There are tons of ways, and a bucking and nub are probably the best way to change the performance of your airsoft gun, to be honest. A well-installed one will give you fantastic performance. A poorly installed one will do the opposite. And then finding the right match is just right. I think people swear by certain ones. It really depends on the match. A lot of people love the G&G greens. As for the nub, I think it's a little less concern. I don't swap those out as often. I've tried a lot of the weird shaped ones that are like patches and flat pieces, and sometimes they will cause feeding issues or over, and sometimes they work great. But for me, here's what I do. When I'm swapping out a bucking, I try to swap out, if it comes with a nub in the package, I try to use those together. Because the factory said, hey, we're gonna put these together. In a pinch, I've lost those. I've actually taken wire, like silicone wire, and stripped the silicone off the metal wire. You know, like wiring, right? Strip a little and use that little, the squishy stripped silicone wire sheathing, like the insulation on a wire, one little wire, and use it. You gotta have a kind of a small gauge wire, really small gauge wire. It'll fit in there and do the same thing. That's a good way to do it. I've used a lot of things in there in a pinch to try to just do it if I've lost that little stupid piece, like installing, and poop, it goes in the ground and you're at the field and it's in the dirt and you can't find it. But given the chance, definitely try to use the one that comes with it. Typically they're gonna be working together better because that's what they've done and tested at the factory. Magic Knives writes, why aren't there or barely any RPG-7s out on the market for Airsoft? Probably the most popular known rocket launcher ever. It'd literally be so cool to see it more often on the field and utilizing it with the 40 mic grenade even. So yeah, I think the RPG-7, the design of it, because it's got the rocket on the end, makes it very hard to put a shell in there and have a projectile come out of it. I think that's why a lot of people don't make it. When you look at more of the Western and more of the modern Russian launchers, they're tubes. You can put projectiles like Nerf footballs inside and those little squishy stress balls, and you can shoot those things out of it. I think that's why they are much more popular. People that want to utilize a launcher in that capacity. Now the 40 mic grenade, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's a 40 millimeter grenade that goes inside of a launcher, but instead of you pull the trigger and boom, it's like a shotgun, it puts a steady stream of BBs out at about 200 and I think mid to high 200 feet per second, under 300 feet per second. But it's like 100 and something BBs, just a hose for like a second and a half. You got to pull the trigger. So it operates very differently than traditional launchers or shells. So with that innovation, it might be an effective tool. But again, you're talking about something it's archaic, right? The RPG-7's old, it's huge. I mean, yeah, it's still used all around the world because it's been around forever and they're cheap to make. You just put the grenade on the end of a big tube and pull the trigger and it fires. So it's really effective, but it's ancient, right? There's a lot of modern ones that are smaller, more compact, bigger, take out larger vehicles in the real world, and people are using those to kind of, in the airsoft world, you want to emulate what it is. I still would love to see it. I know they made some in the past. There's been a couple companies that have made them, that like the 40 millimeter shell went inside like the grenade part, the front, that big green grenade on the front of the RPG. You pull the trigger and it just, you know, kind of shoot the BBs, but there really wasn't a place to put a projectile in it to launch it like a foam dart or foam something like that. So yeah, I think if they could find a way to kind of make it work or make the end foam and it actually fire or something like that, it'd be super cool. But as of right now, I just don't think it's effective taking it from the way it works in the real world versus over to the airsoft world, where it just doesn't really copy as well as the ones that are just basic tubes you can load something into and fire. Jerry Rex writes, hey Jonathan, I recently bought a red and green dot sight and it's kind of blurry, but my friend has a different red dot and it's clear. I don't know if it's a defect or something is up with my eyes. All right, now here's what you get when you buy the cheap stuff, especially online. For me, a red dot, I want to see it in person. I have a couple of them. I'm very careful the ones I pick. I like a sharp, clear dot. I have picked up some, just give me that one, order it online, have it sent in, and they're lacking sometimes. It is a total dice roll. Really, you roll the dice, you don't know what you're gonna get, unless it's a brand you go, oh, my friend has that one, I'm gonna buy that one from this store. You know, he got it off that website, I'm gonna go buy it like EVIC, and I'm gonna buy it from the EVIC. But yeah, that's the way I do it, because almost all of these red dot sights, these replica ones, are all made in China. And there's varying levels of quality. There's varying levels of cleanliness. Did they clean the glass? The little gunk on the glass before they glued the glass in there together. Well, that's gonna make the dot blurry. These things are literally just a red LED and like a they angle it, just like boop, puts the dot, reflects the dot onto the glass, so you have like a little reflection of the dot. It's very basic the way these things are designed. And red and green literally turns the red one off and the green one on. Brightness just powers that sucker up a little bit more. These things are not high tech by any stretch of the imagination. Now the real ones are. They are very high tech. They can be at least, or they're much better made. They have a specific size dot measured in MOA, which is minutes of angle. I forget. Somebody help me out here with this one. MOA. It's a measurement of. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. It's a measurement of like how you adjust scopes at range. I am not a sniper. It's airsoft. We just play BB guns. If the red dot's kind of close to being right, and I can put it on your body and pull the trigger, that's all I care about. But in the real world, you've got to hit a target, very specific at a long range. So you want something that's accurate and precise. In Airsoft, you're not going to get that. They're copies of these real ones anyway, so they're going to be made a lot more affordable because they're cheaper to get. You know, they cost less money. So yeah, unfortunately, not really good. I mean, you can clean the glass on the outside, but it's reflecting on something on the inside. Some of these I've taken apart literally, like how they do the red LED. They put like metal tinfoil over it. It's black, and they just like poke a hole with a needle. So if like the needle hole was kind of bloop in the factory, somebody just kind of bloop, half did it. It's all done by hand. And then glued in place, like not right, it could be blurry. Like the hole's too big or it's not circle or what. I've seen some of these, like trust me, I've had broken, I took it apart and I'm like, that's how it's made? This is like incredibly cheap. I paid $50 for a metal tube, a red LED, and somebody punching a hole in tinfoil to reflect it. It was just terrible. Like some of the knockoff EOTechs are horrible that way. They have like a little pattern that anyway, long story short, you're probably stuck. Shop around for good brand, go to the shops. This is one of those times where I'm gonna tell you, you probably wanna walk in and check or see the brand your friend has, ask where he got it, buy the same one. That should save you, or step up to something like TrueGlow. I've been really happy with it. They're kind of like mid-price, I think like in the low 100s. Still very expensive for a red dot sight, but lifetime warranty and a clean dot. And they're designed for real firearms, but of course then they're gonna work on airsoft and they're budget-minded. Vism and NC Star have some really good ones too. Stick with the name brands, you should be totally good. That's it for questions this week, which means it is time for the Code Red headsets video recommendation of the week. And this one comes from Irish Operator. It's not him, actually. It's actually a channel called Fox Green. He said, hey, Ireland's not getting a lot of love here. Would love to show this channel. By the way, you're not gonna be disappointed if you go check it out. So I clicked over the button, click to the video he recommended here. At the beginning, you saw it pop up here down below. And sure enough, the first comment is from Kicking Mustang going, hey man, I really like this. I'm like, well, if Kicking Mustang likes it, I'm probably gonna like it. So I watched it through. This guy is good. Like he said like 700 subs. I think he's already like to 11 or 1200 now, and it's been like a week or two. This channel's gonna go somewhere. This guy keeps things going, absolutely. It's a sniper channel. He's good, lots of good shots. This is an SSG-24, the NOVRITSCH gun he's using. Definitely good stuff. And plus, this field they're playing at, oh my God, I want to go play there like right now. Just watch the video. It is super, super cool. I'm watching this going, man, I want to go there and play. This looks so good. He does a drone footage, does aerial views to give you an idea of where the battles are going. Very well done channel. Very, very impressed. And Irish Operator, thank you for the recommendation. The channel is Fox Green. As always, I have a link over here in the corner, link down in the description box below. You can click them both. And if you like what you see over there on his channel, mash his sub button, then put a comment under the video letting him know I sent you over there. All right, that's it. Again, another week in the books. Thank you so much. Don't forget, I got some events coming up all the way out into April. I got some other stuff cooking too. I'll keep you posted on what's going on there. I will be in Germany in early March at IWA as well. So I've got that coming up. You'll be hearing more about that. It's the big German SHOT Show, or SHOT Show's the American IWA. I don't know how you want to look at that. It's the big gun and airsoft show. And I'm going to be doing something a little different this year at IWA. I'm going to try to show you guys and gals something a little different since I've got so much SHOT Show coverage. Anyway, stay tuned on that. Also, if you want your question on the show, don't forget, comment below. Put your questions down there. Put your favorite channels down there. All these come from you, and you can also recommend your own channel as well. I support shameless self-promotion. So anyway, until next time, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking heads.